Hello, 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 everybody. I am so glad to see you. I am just kind of doing a little re-entry here with this particular Magic Monday. There are a couple of things I want to tell you, which is, I'm sure you guys all know, but this week is solstice, right? So for those of us in America, we are turning into summer solstice, right? So the longest night of the year right now is going into the summer solstice. And then, for Australia and the other part, it's going to be doing winter solstice. So you guys, that takes place on the 21st and 22nd. There is always so much energy that goes on during the solstice. It is ancient and deep. It goes way back to, pagan cultures and way, way back of how, human beings really would mark the passage of time, the change of the seasons, the fields, the crops, and all that kind of stuff. So there's just lots of energy around it. And the thing I wanted to tell you about this solstice right now is we are going to be heading into Venus going retrograde. Now, Venus is all about love and relationships and our energies there. So she's going to be going retrograde, which she only goes retrograde every 18 months. And with this solstice happening, it's also Venus and Mars right now. So you've got both the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy going on, because Mars is all masculine, male, war kind of energy, and Venus is all feminine, love, relationships, and energy. So I guess what I wanted to just tell you is, with solstice happening this week, there is a big emphasis on your relationships this week, okay? For those of you that are married and in partnerships, this could be either an amazing week with your partner, if you guys are very, very connected and you're doing a good job staying connected. I had to really come home and get massively reconnected to my husband in order to do that, because we were really apart for 2.5 weeks. And since COVID, we have not spent 2.5 weeks apart from each other. So it was really important for me to come back and get reconnected to my family and my husband and my daughter and all those things. So it's a great week for connection and partnership, and really looking at where you've been for the last 6 months and where you're going to go for the next 6 months, because we are already halfway through. Can you believe it? We are halfway down on the year 2023, which is amazing to me. I just recently did a reading, and I hope, Sherry, it's okay with you for me to share this, because I didn't ask permission. But when I came back, I did a reading with Sherry, and, Sherry always does the cards. She always does the wheel reading, and she was really cute. She asked me if I could pull cards for the last 6 months of the year, so she could really see where she's at, compare it to, where we were in January and how much her life has changed. So, that's an option and that's available. So just want to let you guys know, you can always do a mid-year check-in with me, and we can always pull cards and do a wheel reading just to do a recalibration if you want to, okay? This is the time of year to really look at it and do those recalibrations. Good. Now, the other thing I want to tell you about relationships, if you are having difficulties with anybody and you're a little bit at odds right now, whether it's your partnership, your, love relationships, family relationships, mother-daughter, father-son, whatever it is, just want you to know it could be a hard week if those relationships are going through a hard time right now, only because the energy is out there and that's kind of what's happening with it. I always feel like when we know what is happening cosmically, those of us that are empaths and, intuitives and sensitives, which, we all are in this community. I think when you know what's kind of happening out there in the world cosmically, it's almost easier to really check in with your own emotions. And when stuff's rolling through you or going on, you can really be like, is this me or is this not me, right? Is this somebody else's stuff? Is this my stuff? When you are a sensitive empath, it is really, really important for you to know the difference between what is yours, what is not yours, what are loved ones, and what is cosmic energy. It is a constant balance when you are really intuitively sensitive, okay? The other thing I want to tell you is, I don't follow this closely, but I have friends of mine, particularly my Reiki mentor, my Reiki master teacher. He follows the Schumann resonance really, really, really closely. That is actually what measures the solar flares that are happening. And the last couple of days, the Schumann resonance just went off the charts. It created a new pattern that nobody has ever seen before. So it's very interesting that in addition to astrology cosmically, there's also some very interesting energy going on with our sun, our soul, our planets, and what's happening there. As human beings, we are animals, right? And all animals are very, very sensitive to what's happening on Mother Earth. So, that's another thing that can be adding to your sensitivities. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a little check-in about what's going on energetically and cosmically, okay? And then I'll get on with the other stuff to talk to you about. So I want to say hi to Carolyn. Hi, Carolyn, thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Welcome back to you being here. Beth, my friend, so happy to see you guys. Everybody is welcome, and I am just literally smiling. You can see it. I cannot stop smiling. I can feel my ears hurting because I'm so happy to be back with you all today. Okay. The other thing I wanted to tell you is if you can see my cute little scarf right now, I have to tell you guys, I got this in France at the Vide Grenay, and I just love it. It's got eyeballs all over it. My girlfriend Diane, who went with me, I got it for €1, right? €1, $1, right? Well, $1.10. And I brought it back and I was so excited about my scarf. And she just said to me, and she's like, that is weird. And I'm like, yeah. Do you know who you're talking to? Like the queen of weirdness, right? So mixed media stuff. So I love my scarf and I've got my eyeballs and I'm wearing them because I want you all to know that I am looking out for you and I am looking at you and I am seeing you. And hopefully you guys are seeing me because I have missed you. Seriously. I took you all on my walks when I was out around and all the things I was seeing in France and Portugal. So in case you don't know, let me give you a quick little rundown. I did my Art Plus Spirit retreat in the south of France. It's at a place called La Cascade. It is a 400-year-old stone house, and it is the 8th time I've been here. I have a past life in France, and when I put my feet on that soil, I literally feel home. I don't know how to explain it. My French is not very good. Little bits come back to me, but I find angels everywhere I go in France, and this trip was no exception. Everybody was so kind. They weren't just kind to me, they were kind to my students. There were 9 of us total, 8 of us, which is full for the retreat. So everywhere we went, they were just kind and sweet and wonderful. And, Americans say that they can't stand the French, that they're rude and arrogant and all this other kind of stuff. And I just have to tell you, in my life experience, I don't have that. Maybe in Paris, maybe at some of the waiters, maybe during the middle of summer when they are overrun with tourists, you might find an occasional Frenchman who's a little not so nice. But in the countryside, in the rural areas, they don't speak a lot of English, and yet they try, and they are amazing. So that trip was absolutely incredible. If you've seen my social media, you can see some of the photos that I did there. And then 2 of my really good girlfriends, after that, we left and we took a train to Portugal, and we spent some time in Porto and a couple of days in Lisbon. And unbeknownst to me, seriously, unbeknownst to me, we ended up landing in Lisbon in the Alfama district, which is the ancient area. And it was during St. Anthony Day. And it is the biggest party of the year for St. Anthony, which is the saint of marriages and lost things, which I thought was really, really interesting. Marriages and lost things. And of course, my brain went down and was like, in marriage, you can either lost or you can be found too. So we ended up with this giant party. And it starts basically at 9 o'clock at night, and they stay up all night long, and then they sleep the next day. So we were supposed to get out at 2:30 in the morning for a 5:30 flight, and we couldn't even get out of the city. So we ended up having to be flexible. We had to completely rearrange our last day's travel, and we basically had to get a cab and hightail it out of the Alfama district for a Holiday Inn that was near the airport, because if we didn't, there was such a throngs of people like Mardi Gras that we would not have been able to get out. So I thought that was really, really interesting, you guys. So what is the lesson? What is the learning? Always Google when you're going to go travel internationally to a new place and you're going to be there for a few days. Google what's going on. And if it is the biggest party celebration of the year that matches Mardi Gras, think about either staying and partying through it or going home way before it. So, so I just wanted to talk about that. And that leads me to the love and learn that I want to talk to you about this. Okay. I really find, so I love and adore international travel. I love it. It helps me with my worldview. It makes me appreciate with so much gratitude everything I have, everything I own, my beautiful home in the woods. It's like, my life is modestly lovely, beautiful. And actually it's not modest. I have abundance because I have abundance of all the collections of all of the things and the travels I've been and the art I get to make and the things I get to do. So I live in massive abundance. And when I get to go travel, I get to see culturally how other people live. I get to see their model of the world, their view of the world, the way they think about Americans. I get to see ancient cultures. It's just an amazing thing. And one of the things about travel is, particularly for Americans internationally, it is one of the most difficult things you can do, because as much as you can plan, as everything that you can do to get there, you're going to get there and things are always going to go sideways. That's why you got to have travel insurance. You're going to miss flights. It may be hard to get through customs. There may be a lot of people. I mean, we got incredibly lucky. We just got through everything really, really fast and everybody were angels. But, but there are things that happen when you travel. And that kind of led me to, some insights. I got to practice my reality right now. I got to practice my viewpoint. I got to practice what I preach. So here's just an example. I had an expectation of something when I went to Lisbon. Hang on just a second. I need a drink. I had an expectation when I went to Lisbon, and it did my expectation and what I really, really, really wanted from Lisbon did not match my expectation. Now, again, it was probably because I inadvertently landed in the craziest time of the year in the epicenter of it. So that was a little bit interesting, but because it didn't match my expectations, my vibration was low. I was really frustrated. I was angry. I was annoyed. I was irritated. And here I am on this vacation in this place that I've always wanted to go to. And I was just so incredibly in my stuff, right? I was so irritated. And, I had two of my really good friends with me, and I did not want to have my lower vibration at the moment affect them and have them have a bad day on their vacation. So we sat down for lunch and I started to get emotional because, I get emotional, and I had to get up and I walked, and I just told them I'd be back because we were waiting for food. And I got up and I walked about 2 blocks to the St. Anthony Church. And when I was there, I was doing my work, right? I was doing my deep breathing. I was getting calm. I was doing my neuro-linguistic programming, my mental emotional release work, and I was working my tools. And I was really trying to become aware of what the heck was going on with me, because I was running my old programming. I was running my stuff and I wasn't aware what was happening. I just knew that I was feeling yucky. So when I ran my MER, when I ran my stuff, I was able to pretty quickly identify what was happening with me. And it was that my expectations were completely out of whack with my reality at the moment. Now, I couldn't really change my reality. The only thing I could really adjust was my reaction to my reality. Right? Do you get that? Do you guys really, really get it? So, my reality was I was in Lisbon. It was busy. There was, this party going to happen. We were going to get stuck in it. My girlfriends were irritated. I was irritated. We didn't know what to do. So we were just really in it. And I had to really just forgive myself. And I didn't make the best choice. I didn't fully do my research. I made some mistakes along the way. I made some travel mistakes, and I just had to forgive myself. So I had to run my stuff. I had to forgive myself, and I had to adjust my reality. I had to let go of my expectations. And then I had to reframe what was happening to me so I could get into a better state, so I could actually shift my thinking, shift my reality, and then become very flexible because I wasn't stuck. We're never stuck. Do you understand? It's just our thinking that makes us stuck. So I was in stinking thinking. That's what I call it, stinking thinking. And I had to realize that I wasn't stuck. And so once I was able to recognize what was going on, do my release work, get a hold of my emotions, reframe what was happening to me, I was able to tap into the resources within, and we were able to still have a really good time, leave the Airbnb that we had rented. We didn't get any money back, right? That's a bummer, but we didn't. And we were able to get into a different hotel. Okay. Enough on that. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse. But what I really wanted to share the story with you is because I just want to remind you, because I had to remind myself, that empowerment is when we take responsibility for ourselves. Empowerment is when we recognize that we may not be in the best situation at the moment, but we are in control of our situation, and we are in control of our state. We are in control how we feel about it. Now, we may get negative emotions. We may have limiting beliefs that may run our stuff, and we still are in control. The second that I pointed my finger at somebody else and I blamed somebody else for it, the tour guide, the travel agency, the person who set up, the person who didn't do the best job, with our reservations, it's my responsibility. I'm the one that bought the ticket, right? I had to point the finger back to me. So once we can point the finger back to ourselves, we can go from a state of disempowerment into a state of empowerment. We can find the resources within, and we can shift our thinking, and we can still manage to have a great time, even when it doesn't match our expectations. Okay, yay! That was the love and learn topic today, you guys. So hopefully you got that. Does anybody have any questions on that, and anything about it? Thanks for all of the hearts. So I love Beth. Such a good story of empowerment and being bigger than our emotions. Yes, thank you, Beth. Absolutely true. So, okay, you guys, learning moment. I love when you guys come back and comment while I do these little love and learns. I really appreciate it. Susan says, I went through the same thing with my Vegas stay. Susan, I remember Magic Mondays when you were going through the Vegas stay and you had to do the same kind of work. You guys, this personal development work that we do, it's worth it, okay? It's, the tools that I've learned, the way I am now, the way that I can adjust my emotions, the way I can adjust my energy is really an amazing thing, because I don't get stuck anymore. I mostly live in a state of happiness, peace, calm, centeredness. And it's because of understanding these things and learning how to adjust constantly, understanding that I am an energetic being and that energy is always flowing and moving, and that I am in control of my energy, that I am an energetic being, I'm in control of my energy, and taking 100% responsibility for my life, my actions. Does that mean that crap doesn't happen to me? No, and it means that I can handle it. I'm strong, I'm courageous, I've got this, right? You guys have the exact same thing. You are strong, you are courageous, you got this, you can do it. And the work is life-changing, absolutely life-changing. Okay. Great. I'm going to have another drink. Colleen says, I had a similar situation in Palm Desert, lived and learned. And so wait, I'm going to tell you one more thing, and then I'm going to get on. Hitomi, I'm going to go ahead and pull cards today. So I'm going to do a universal one, and then I'm going to do individuals, and then I'm going to do a universal. So you guys, as you know, if you want a card pull for today, just comment. Hitomi is keeping track of everybody's names, and then we'll do our regular thing. Okay. I was going to say something and I totally lost my train of thought. Squirrel. Live and learn. Oh, thank you. Live and learn. Thanks, Colleen. Got me back into it. And that's what we did there. So live and learn. So the other thing I wanted to tell you is one of the things I did at my retreat every night is something that I do with my family now. And I'm just going to put that out there as a tip and a trick for you guys, because it is a really great way to shift state. Okay. It's a way to connect and it's a way to shift state. So one of the things I do with my family every night is I cook, so I cook dinner and then we eat together. And so I have my kids, my husband, my son, my daughter, my son's still home. He's going to be moving out later in the year. But I still have him home because he's 23, almost 24. And my daughter's going to be turning 14. So we eat outside and we play a little game called high low. Now it used to be what is high, what was low. So what was your high for the day? What was your low for the day? And I've since added to it. And now it is, what was your high and what was your low? And what did you learn? What were the learnings? Because the learnings are really important. Once we can understand the learnings, we can let go of the negative emotions, right? We can let go. We don't have to hang on to stuff. We can do forgiveness, we can let it go, but we got to know what the learnings are, because our unconscious mind is bringing the stuff up so we can get the learnings. So high, low, what did you learn? And I did that with my students in the retreat, and we did it every night at dinner. And I have to tell you, it was so much fun. So for today already, okay, I know it's only like 11:34, but my high today is being here with you guys, being back to my Magic Mondays, right? So far today, that's my high. What did I learn from this? I learned that I love being with you guys and sharing this time with you every single week. And it's great for you guys to go off and have adventures. It's great for me to go off and have adventures. And yet it's really amazing to come back and have our community connection. Okay. So that was my learning. What was my low this morning? I'm still waking up at anywhere between 1:30 a.m. and 3:30 a.m. and not being able to get back to sleep because I have jet lag. So, my low was 3 o'clock and 3:30 in the morning, and I was up. And what I learned from that, jet lag. And jet lag is a reality of international travel. There's not a thing I can do about it. You just got to get through it, right? Sometimes in life, we're going to make choices of things we do. There's always good, there's always bad. And sometimes you just got to suck it up, buttercup, and do it. So high, low, what did you learn? So I'm going to put that out there. It's a great game to play with your family. It's a great game to play with your partner, your friends, whatever. It just is a way of touching base. And particularly when you add the, what did you learn? Okay. Okay. Awesome.